Hello, welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, it looks like we are at the start of an Edmonton Oilers Jersey Quest franchise mode, but we are doing something a little different this series. We're not doing an Oilers franchise mode in NHL 23. We are doing a Bakersfield Condors franchise mode in NHL 23. So instead of focusing on the NHL here, we're going to focus on the AHL. On the reasoning behind that and the Jersey Quest player, get into a second. But there isn't like around right now, but yeah, we're doing an AHL one, so the NHL one's kind of a little different. So the NHL stuff kind of don't really care about, so we're kind of gonna focus on kind of like developing players and whatnot, and trying to build like an excellent AHL roster for the Oilers here, essentially, and win the Calder Cup is the Bakersfield Condors. And the reasoning behind that is, go into the edit line screen here, turn that off, because the coach messes stuff up when they edit the lines. It's not a forward, it's a defenseman. Here it is, Michael Kesselring. I'll change his number 7 because that's what he wore in this kind of final season, half-ish season to third season with the Condors. I did have to like go, thankfully, because they haven't shut the service down for this game yet. Also because I played the game like a handful of times. Before even if they had shut the servers down, like I was able to go back, reset the roster to I think it was like one in like towards the end of February, the middle of February, because during this season, Michael Kesselring is part of the trade that saw the Oilers bring in Nick Bjugstad from the Arizona Coyotes. Like Kesselring and like a AHL defenseman for the Coyotes got like swapped in that trade. He went to ended up spending the rest of the season kind of in a mix between the Coyotes and the Tucson Roadrunners. So I had to kind of revert the rosters back before that to that kind of default NHL roster here. I guess this is like kind of Kesselring in real life, kind of like last 2/3 season in the AHL, but we're kind of gonna go with him kind of sticking around and whatnot. But he's kind of another one connection. He was a Northeastern alum, kind of connect like with our connections to kind of with Jamie Alexiak 2 franchises ago, and then Jeremy Davies a while ago. Kind of the same thing here. Kind of went for Bakersfield Condors, as you can see the name in the top right corner here is Da Vinci. This is like kind of coinciding. It's on the New Year's GSSR a while ago. We were able to successfully get Da Vinci, and she's like kind of most as these like Let's Plays and whatnot kind of coincide with the FGO one. Kind of are up to doing stuff for Da Vinci here, kind of based on her when she was being like when she was summoned and whatnot. It's basically like because the ID numbers for like anything over like 90 over 100 and over. It's not like I can just like go do a jersey number to kind of make things the picking a lot easier. So when it's kind of 100 over, I have to get a little bit creative. And if you kind of look at Da Vinci's Ascension art on kind of the FGO wiki or in the game if you have her or anything, she has like a mechanical bird, like perched on her shoulder. Kind of like starting at her stage 2 Ascension, like all the way up from there. And it kind of looks, I don't know, it looks like more like a bird of prey to me than kind of just like a standard bird. So I was like, oh, let me look at kind of teams that have bird logos, and the Condors are kind of there. Kind of looks kind of similar to the bird's perched on, the Condors like perched on a hockey stick, like Da Vinci's one is perched on her shoulder. So I was like, it's kind of makes sense. And has like they have Michael Kesselring here, who kind of fits my collection goals and whatnot. So we'll kind of be going for their blue jersey, because that's what he wore like in his kind of final games that he's like had goals and points in for them. I think his final games might have worn the white one, but the blue one just looks nicer, and he like had his final assist and final goal with the Condors in that kind of jersey. So that's kind of what we're going with, is the royal blue one. But yeah, he's the player of focus. So kind of how this is going to work, because this is the AHL, it's going to be a little different. In the general sense, it's going to be the same in the sense that like most of the formatting the same. The only thing that's really going to change is kind of like, I don't know, let's look at their NHL roster real quick. Yeah, so most of these guys are like definitely NHL quality. Let's look at their like forward lines real quick. Yeah, so here we go. So guys like this, so like Holloway, Derek Ryan, not really because he's older. The guys like Holloway, McLeod and stuff, like I might, and like Klim Kostin, kind of these kind of guys over here. Like I might kind of scoop them down to the AHL to kind of buff the AHL roster. That's who they have scratched here. As well, Vinny Desjardins, he might come down. Oscar Clefbaum, he just exists because he has like his contract still exists. But Phil Broberg here, he'll come down as well. So like kind of these guys like guys like this were like if I was doing an NHL franchise, but they'd probably be going down anyways, just because they're over. Like I'd probably have like a veteran here, kind of. I probably would stick with Klefbom here because like until his contract ran out, which is when like this last season. But yeah, so like kind of I'd stick them back in the NHL anyways. But that's kind of how it's gonna work is like the NHL roster. Like I'll slap probably some of these like. I mean, like Mark will probably go back up. Devin Shore will probably go back up, kind of swap them for Holloway and whatnot. But kind of these like veteran guys, they're like older and mid-tier 75s overall and stuff. Like I'll swap them out for prospects pretty much and kind of create like a pretty nice, try to create a nice roster. And then kind of at the NHL stuff, I don't really care if the Oilers win or lose. I honestly might trade away like NHL roster players for like draft picks or prospects and stuff. If not, I won't like seek out the trades, but they like get offered to me or whatever. Like I'll kind of do that to kind of boost the Bakersfield's kind of roster instead of focusing on the NHL roster. And we'll see if we can win a Calder Cup with them before kind of looking. Let's just look at kind of Kesselring again. I think he's like a top 6 potential. A top 6 medium potential. He's 22, sorry, he's 72 overall. So we'll kind of see. So the only ones like so players once they kind of do hit like 80 overall, I'll move them up to the NHL because that's like NHL ready. I'll like get rid of them. Not like get rid of them, but like kind of do that with them. But like Kesselring, even if he like hits like 90 overall somehow, like he's gonna end up staying in the AHL for as long as possible, which kind of means he's probably gonna be on a somewhat limited timer in the sense because like once he starts to like really develop and whatnot, like he'll probably want like NHL time just to keep him in the AHL. He probably won't want to re-sign a contract, so this will be like an interesting situation. But yeah, he's kind of the player of focus for this. Like the Condors brand, they're kind of the royal blue ones. They kind of switch, like flip-flop back and forth, like their colors. Basically, when the Oilers switched from like royal blue to navy blue back to royal blue, they kind of switched along with them. But this roster is kind of interesting, I guess. It's got like this guy, terrible, but yes, we're kind of trying to fill with prospects and stuff. Then kind of probably also look at like, let's kind of check it out. I guess right now we'll see. Like free agents, I don't know if there's going to be anyone like particularly like enticing out there. Yeah, so like this is like all a bunch of old people. But like if we kind of scroll, yeah, see like it's all like older guys and stuff. No one really has a ton of potential. Let's see if he's flip it to like buy potential. So there's a couple of guys like Joakim Blitchfield is out here, Zach Senyshyn. So I'll make kind of like signs like that. Free agency focusing mostly on the kind of filling the AHL roster with quality players and stuff. But for pretty much every other way, except for the fact we're kind of focusing on the AHL here, like it's going to be like the same kind of jersey quest mode you're used to, where kind of success is going to be us winning, in this case, the Calder Cup here. And if like Kesselring doesn't want to because this is like more modern games, it's like players who are potentially not going to want to re-sign and stuff. He doesn't want to re-sign. Like, then that's kind of going to be it. Or somehow if he makes it through his entire career in the AHL and then retires, that'll be it also. But that's kind of it for this introduction. Because, like, the roster kind of, you're able to see the roster kind of there quickly. And kind of Kesselring is the player of focus and whatnot. So there's not really much else for you to touch on this one. So the next episode will kind of be at the end of this kind of 22-23 season where the Condors, I think, they finished 5th in the Pacific that season, made the playoffs and lost in round 1 to the Abbotsford Canucks. So we'll kind of get to that kind of point and see if the sim engine's kind or two, essentially, and let like we can go on a run maybe. If not, we'll kind of be at the end of the season in the free agency mode, kind of talking over kind of how the HL season went, the draft more importantly kind of went, and then kind of who if we were able to kind of pick up prospects and trades. I'll talk about that as well, or if they're the kind of prospects that like teams let go that I can kind of sign in free agency to kind of bolster the roster. But yeah, as I said, that's kind of it for this episode. Thank you to anyone who watched this. Hopefully you watch the next episode as well.